This is going to be math for Tuesday, February the 16th. So we've been working on addition and subtraction within 1,000. Today we are going to learn to use partial sums to find the answer to an addition problem. Partial just means part. And we've been using a lot of partial sums. You just haven't realized it, okay? So when we've been breaking apart those problems according to place value and adding them, you're doing partial sums, okay? So I'm going to do two examples with you. One of them I'm going to draw base 10 blocks, and one of them I'm going to use a place value algorithm. With place value blocks and the place value algorithm, I'm still using partial sums to find my answer to the addition equation. My first problem, I am going to draw the base 10 blocks, okay? You should be familiar with the base 10 blocks from last year. 324 and 165 are called my add-ins. So I'm going to combine those two to find my sum, which is the answer to an addition problem. So I'm going to draw my place value blocks. So I'm going to draw a hundreds, tens, and ones chart. So I'm going to put an H up here for my hundreds. I'm going to put a T for my tens and an O for my ones, okay? So the first number I need to draw is 324. I will ask myself, how many hundreds do I have in 324? Well, I have 3. So I will take and draw 3 squares that will represent 3 hundreds, and I will place them in the hundreds place in my place value chart. Okay, now that I've done my hundreds, I will move to my tens. How many tens do I have in 324? I have 2, so I'm going to draw them like sticks. So those stands for 2 tens, which is 20. Now I need to draw my ones, which is 4 in 324. I'm just going to draw them as little circles so I don't get them confused with my hundreds blocks. So I have 4 in the ones place. So now I have drawn the number 324, but I have to combine it with 165. So I'm going to combine that. So then I'm going to draw it underneath it. I'm going to draw a line, okay? So I know that this number is separated from that number. I have a 1 in the hundreds place, so I'll draw a 1 in the hundreds place with a square. I have 6 tens, so I'll draw 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'll draw my 5 in the ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to check and make sure I have those. And then I'm going to draw 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that I've drawn my place value blocks, I can combine those and do it with partial sums. So I can add my hundreds first. That's 100, 200, 300, 400. So that's part of my sum, but it's not my whole sum. That's where that word partial sums comes from. Now I will count my tens. I know I have 6 down here, 7, 8. It's not really 8, it's worth 80 because it's in the tens place. So I will put 80 here. So there's another part of my sum. Now let's count my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'll put my 9 in the ones place. Make sure it's lined up correctly and the 9 is in the ones, the 8 will be in the tens, and the 4 will be in the hundreds. These are all my partial sums. If I combine those together, I will have my sum. So what's 400 plus 80, which is 480, plus 9 more is 489. So my sum for 324 plus 165 is 489. Now, you may not want to take and draw out the base 10 blocks, and that is fine. So there's another way that you can solve using partial sums by using a place value algorithm. So I'm going to show you an example of the place value algorithm with this next problem. I have 354 plus 165. These two numbers are called my add-ins. So I will take and I will add my hundreds place. What's 300 plus 100? It will be 400. So I will go over here and line up. Once again, that's part of my sum. So that's where that partial sums comes from. Now I've got 50 and 60. So I'm going to combine those together. I'm going to put 60 in my head because it's the bigger number, and I'll count by the 5 10. So that's 60's in my head. That's 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. 110. So my tens place added up to 110. And since I overflow into the hundreds place, in the tens place, I would have to be regrouping. Now what's 4 plus 5? Which is 9. Okay, so now I'm going to take and add all my partial sums together. So you have 9, you have 1, and you have 5. So my sum is 519. So you will complete the visual learning, your workbook page, and the quick check, and you will turn that into your teacher for your assignment.